Liam, back to winning ways in the Betfred Championship last weekend with a solid and convincing in the end victory over Doncaster at the Shays. That put some smiles on faces around camp after a tough couple of weeks.
Yeah, winning's always nice. It's not nice being on the end of a few bad results, and nobody enjoys it. Everybody likes winning, but yeah, that one's done and dusted. Now it's on to the next one, and as the championship is, it's a long, tough challenge, and the games come thick and fast, and we're back at it 6 days after. So we need to remember the positives from the Doncaster game and try and reenact them, and obviously at the same time improve in other areas too.
We spoke a lot in the build-up to that game about effort not being in question, but a case of attitude and mentality. Do you think the players showed that on Sunday?
Yeah, I thought from the very first sort of couple of carries of the game, there was the intent there, and that intent and the desire to work together can get you a long way. The challenge for us is to repeat it and to stay consistent with it, and keep challenging each other to get better.
Saw a shuffle in the back line as well. Gareth Widdop moving to full back, and then the reuniting of Louis Giuffre and Joe Keys in the halves. Do you think that spine is something that you can settle down now and start to build some form this year?
That sort of was a bit of a forced change last week because Louis took a bang at York and came off, and we didn't know whether he would be available the following week. It took him all week to sort of see if he was going to be right, and within that time we got offered Jack Sinfield on dual reg, and we had to take that opportunity again because we didn't know Louis was 50-50, and then Jack got pulled out, and it was easy after having trained with Gaz at fullback all week to slot Louis in at straight back in at half, and it seemed to work well. But like I said to the lads, all the pivots played really well, from 9, 6, 7 and 1. But at the same time, that's because the forwards and the outside backs did all the hard work and got us on the front foot. And as an half-back or a pivot type player, you tend to have your better games when you're on the front foot and your forwards are doing the work. And I've said it before, your middle unit and your forwards usually win you the game, and obviously the backs then have to come in and decide by how much. So yeah, we're pleasing for that. The pivots to play well. But like I keep saying, when the pivots are playing well, it generally means you're getting on top, and it's up to the forwards and outside backs to carry with that same intent to get us on the front foot again, which will be a really tough challenge against a tough Toulouse team, which obviously have been a good team for a number of years, and they're pretty hard to break down. But I'm confident if we get our side right, we'll give ourselves a chance.
Yeah, we might not have had Jack Sinfield, but the two Leeds players, or the three Leeds players we have, with Corey Johnson, Leon Ruan and Ned McCormack scoring quite brilliant try for a 19-year-old. Looks like we're going to have those in our squad again this weekend. How much of an impact have those Leeds players had on the playing group and on the performances?
Corey's played the last two games, and we had to move pretty fast on that one when we learnt about Tom breaking his jaw. And he's put two massive 80-minute shifts in, and got through some really good work, and did it tough against York, and we played a lot of the game in defence, and then obviously against Doncaster, as I mentioned before, the forwards got us on the front foot a little bit, and you saw what Corey's capable of at dummy half, and also his smarts and his ability to play rugby with the ball, but also his toughness to keep turning up. I think after about being out there for an hour, he was the one who knocked the ball out of Craig Hall's hands just as he was scoring the ball with an extra effort after getting through a boatload of work in the middle. So his attitudes have been first class since he's been in. Ned as well. Ned came in, was excited by the opportunity. Rather than playing reserves at Leeds a little bit, they're a little bit of a in-between step for him between the Super League and reserves, and he did a really good job out on that fresh-looking left edge that had really not played together or really trained together at all, and did a great job and played full of enthusiasm and obviously made a really good break and finished it off with a try. So and Leon as well came in and worked hard at short notice after being 18th man for Leeds on Friday night. So we're grateful for the partnership with Leeds, and all we ask of the lads that turn up from Leeds is they come with the enthusiasm and the energy to put the best foot forward, which our lads appreciate. You know, they speak about often when we get some dual reg players in, like the ones that come with the right attitude and get on with the job. They really appreciate it and welcoming them into the group. So yeah, we're grateful for that partnership, and we're happy to that they're performing and helping us get where we need to be.
So moving on to this weekend, then, like we said, we are going to have those Leeds players again. They've been announced to the squad. It's a short turnaround from Sunday to Saturday, or a day shorter than it usually would be. Is it a case of trying not to change too much at this point? You've got bodies coming in, but is it about keeping players in consistent roles and the game plan consistent to try and, you know, get a back-to-back win for the first time this year?
Yeah, well, again, you're governed by circumstances a little bit on who's available, who's carrying knocks, who's available on dual registration, and the players coming in. So we've got a little bit to think about this week in terms of freshening it up with new bodies. We'll bring some of the lads that didn't play last week in to freshen it up with a little bit of a shorter turnaround and less time on the training field. So there's a few decisions to be made from within that 21, but ultimately it's about us getting out and whatever we decide to do on the day in terms of game plan, executing it with an intent that we did last week. I think if you go after something with the intent and the attitude, and you can only control your attitude and your effort, and you do that and you give it 100%. Like I said, we'll come together and we'll give ourselves the best chance.
In terms of injuries, touch wood here, it looked like we seemed to come through the Doncaster game with flying colours apart from the Saltonstall cut. Adam O'Brien's been included in the squad for the first time in a number of months. Things are starting to turn around. Can you just give us an update on where we are in terms of the injured list at the moment?
Dougie's took a bang on his thumb again, so he won't play this week. He's not in the squad. He's had a long history with that thumb in recent months. So it's a case of managing that as best we can. So he took a bang on it last week. OB, he's back in the mix for this week, and he's been diligent and hardworking and professional, as you would expect from a leader. So he'll be somewhere near and in contention. Crooksy, again, it's still in a boot, so that's going to be a little bit of time. I'm trying to think who else there is. But yeah,
Woodburn Hall returning.
Yeah,
as well.
Woody's back from HIA this week. He's back in the squad. Obviously, you've got to do the minimum requirement of 10-11 days. So he's back in contention this week. So it's nice to have a few decisions to make, and it's nice for the squad to see other people that are coming back into the mix, and the 17 doesn't just pick itself at the minute, which is a nice headache to have.
Looking onto the opposition then, Toulouse Olympique coming over from France. You'll have done your homework on them. What kind of side are they this year, and what threats do they pose?
Yeah, they're still a solid side. They're probably a little bit like us. Won't be 100% happy with some of the results they've had, but at the same time they've also had some good wins, and we know they've got some great experience in there in the squad, and the core of the group's been together for a long time. So we know what threats they're going to pose. They're a big physical team. They've got a good go forward in the middle. They get you on the front foot and try and get themselves on the front foot, and the halfbacks play off the back of it. So yeah, I would say they're no frills, but that's a little bit of an insult. They can play good rugby, but they do the physical stuff first, and that's the bit that you need to win in order to give yourself a chance.
And obviously with the weekend off next weekend for the Challenge Cup finals down at Wembley, it gives you a chance to throw everything at them in what's likely to be a physical game. Do you agree?
Yeah, it's the last sort of time where there's a weekend off from the week to week, but I think just backing up the intent and the effort from last week is our challenge, and everything else will look after itself.
And finally then, it's a final home game at the Shay for what will be a number of weeks. We say it every week, the fans have been great, they get behind the team, but how important is it on a Saturday night under the lights against tough opposition that they really get behind the boys, make themselves heard, and make it quite a difficult place for the French side to play?
Yeah, I thought that was also a big plus last week. I thought the crowd was at it from before the kick-off and from the start of the game, which does make a difference. you know, they were behind the lads, and there were a good atmosphere here from the very start of the game, which always helps, and you want your home games to be valuable in terms of being a home game. So the crowd play a big part in that, and when they get behind the lads, you can see that little bit of an extra spring in the step.